It's beginning to look a lot like New Year. Everywhere I go. Okay, I have one advanced target dummy left. What do I need to make another advanced target dummy? Bronze framework, iron stud, and I need heavy leather. Heavy leather is hella hard for me to get. Yeah, I'm trying to get in the festive mood of New Year. Remove the glasses. I'm using lenses today. As you can see, my eyes are a bit out of focus, but what can you do?
Be quick about your business.
God made me like this. I'm a bit torn on what to do right now. Should I go level, or should I secure another advanced target to me and get some nades? I feel a bit naked without nades. Silver contact, iron bar, and heavy blasting powder. It should be very easy for me to create these. Even iron grenades. Enig with Engi. Iron bar and silver contact. Okay, silver ore. Where can I get silver ore? Hill spread, foothills. Do I have any more silver contacts actually? I have a lot of iron bars. Okay, so I'm stacked on iron bars. And I have some silver contact, but I need heavy blasting powder. And that I can get from heavy stone. Let's see. Heavy stone of Warcraft. iron. Okay. Iron or iron deposit of classic. Arati Highlands, let's see. Mining a guide classic. Wow. Wow. Yep. We're gonna go to Arati Highlands for some
How may I be of service? Watch your back.
for some mining. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can learn better first aid. Or am I maxed? Okay, this is actually perfect. I can go over there and learn my best first aid. While I can also mine. That's good. I'm gonna put on something in the background that is that shouldn't be copyrighted, because I need to have something to listen to. And then I'm gonna go with good old
You may yet have a part to
good old Noble.
The story of Kil'jaeden does not begin with Kil'jaeden himself. It begins with the Titans and Sargerats. The Titans had a mission to bring order to the universe. They shaped the worlds, they created life, and took out those who were against their vision. The Titans were led by the Pantheon, and their champion was called Sargeras, and his task was defending their mission against the darkness of the universe. He imprisoned countless of demons, dreadlords, and all kinds of evil creations. He performed this duty for thousands of years, but over time he began to doubt. If the universe was supposed to be all about order, then why was it fighting the Titans so much? Why was there so much evil and chaos in the world? Was that perhaps the way it's supposed to be? He talked with the other members of the Pantheon about this, but they couldn't help him. They weren't able to convince him of the truth of their mission, and Sargeras left the Pantheon. The corruption within himself,
Pussy.
doubt and despair, they started to manifest on the outside. Great flames burst forth out of his body, and Sargeras decided that the Titans' their mission was folly. That order was not the way to go, and that chaos was the only truth of the universe. His mission was no longer to protect the work of the Titans, quite the opposite. His mission became to destroy their work. In order to do that, he would need an army, so he made his way to the demons that he had imprisoned, and he set them free. The demons, in return, were more than willing to join his army, and the Burning Legion was created. Sometime after this, Sargeras found a planet called Argus, and on this planet were very powerful beings, namely the Eredar. The Eredar were ruled by 3 leaders, namely Velen, Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. Sargeras wanted them into his army, so he made contact with the leaders and he showed them a future in which they would receive incredible power, knowledge beyond their imagination, and planets full of loving subjects who would worship and honor them. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden were directly on board with this plan. They were taken away by Sargeras and his powers. But the prophet Velen felt like something wasn't quite right. He meditated on this problem, and the Naru showed him the truth of the vision. The loving subjects were actually demons. The powers given would transform them into unnatural beings, and the planets they would come across would be destroyed. Velen saw that if they joined Sargeras, that the universe would be doomed, so he talked to his fellow leaders and showed them the truth. To his surprise, they didn't
Heyo.
He had perhaps expected this from Archimonde, since he could sometimes easily be swayed if people played on his vanity. But Kil'jaeden, he had expected more of him. Kil'jaeden was the stronger one, he was decisive and he was wise, which is why Velen felt closer to Kil'jaeden, but even he was not convinced. They told Velen that this was just a vision in his mind, not a certain truth, and Velen realized that they now belonged to Sargeras. With the help of the Naru, Velen managed to gather as many of his people as he could, and he was ready to escape the planet. Unknown to him was that Sargeras had already started to turn some of his people, and they nearly killed Velen and his followers. Only because of the Naru was Velen able to escape the planet with his people, and Kil'jaeden was not happy about this. He took Velen's betrayal very personal, especially since they were so close, and he promised that he would find them and destroy them, even if it took 1,000 years. Those that had followed Velen would now start to call themselves Draenei, and Kil'jaeden was true to his word. The Draenei would find a planet to hide on, Kil'jaeden would find them, Velen would be warned in time, and they would evacuate the planet before the Burning Legion arrived. This went on for many years, until the Draenei had to crash land on the planet they would call Draenor. The Naru, who had helped them escape time and time again, had fallen ill, so there was no way of leaving the planet anymore. Kil'jaeden didn't know about this, of course, and when his scouts found the Draenei again, he decided to change his plans. Instead of sending the might of the Burning Legion, he decided to use the orcs who were already on the planet. Corrupt them, turn them against the Draenei, and let them do his dirty work. The orcs at the time were not allies with the Draenei, but they also weren't enemies. Occasionally they would trade with each other, and the Draenei had even saved 2 young orcs from an ogre. That means that Kil'jaeden couldn't just show up and tell them to murder them, he had to manipulate them, and his first target was the shaman Ner'zhul. The shamans of the orcs sometimes received a visit from their ancestors,
Yes, I think
passed away,
it's okay.
and Ner'zhul was no different. In fact, he was one of the most revered and powerful shamans amongst the orcs. One night, his beloved dead wife Rokan paid him a visit in a vision, and this had never
Thanks for
happened
telling me,
before,
though.
even though Ner'zhul had many times wished for it. She told him that the Orcish clans could no longer live as individual clans, that they had to be united because there was a threat for the orcs on the planet. She told him that the Draenei had to be exterminated in order for the orcs to stand tall and proud to claim the planet for their own. Ner'zhul swore that he would follow the advice of the ancestors, so he gathered the clans and he shared his vision with the other shamans. But what they didn't know was that this was a false vision orchestrated by Kil'jaeden. Even so, it convinced the orcs the word of the ancestors was holy to them, so they started to work together and they trained for war. After their first attacks on the Draenei, Ner'zhul received a new vision, only this time it wasn't his beloved wife. This time it was Kil'jaeden himself. The fake Rulkan had told Ner'zhul about Kil'jaeden, and she had told him that he was even above the ancestors and that Kil'jaeden was very concerned about the future of the orcs. Ner'zhul believed it all at first without question, and not just because it was his wife that told him this. He had started to enjoy being the center of attention of all the orcs, and he started to dream about the future promised by Rulkan. Kil'jaeden is also very persuasive when he wants to be. They don't call him the Deceiver for nothing, but eventually Ner'zhul started to doubt. His wife no longer came to him, now it was only Kil'jaeden. And his mission was no longer in the name of the ancestors, now it was in the name of Kil'jaeden. One night, Ner'zhul dared to leave his hut and travel to Oshugan, and Oshugan is the spaceship that the Draenei crashed on Draenor with, but it also became a very holy and spiritual place for the orcs. Inside, Ner'zhul tried to communicate with the ancestors, and they actually showed themselves, but to his horror, their faces showed nothing but hatred. Hatred for the fool that he had been, for leading his people down this dark path, and the ancestors turned back on Ner'zhul. You have to understand that the ancestors meant everything, especially to the shamans of the orcs. So on his way home, Ner'zhul tried to come up with some plan of trying to save the situation. Unfortunately for him, his apprentice Gul'dan had seen everything what happened, and he had informed Kil'jaeden. From that point on, Ner'zhul was out of the picture. Kil'jaeden knew that he wanted to betray him, so he decided to use Gul'dan instead. With Gul'dan, he didn't have to play games, since Gul'dan was more than willing to sell out his own people in exchange for more.
Gul'dan!
By order of Kil'jaeden,
What a bitch.
Gul'dan transformed the orcs into the Horde. He appointed Blackhand.
He's one of the my favorite bad guys in World of Warcraft, though. He's legit evil. You have Kel'Thuzad that has been joked on, and you know, it's a bit memey. But Gul'dan is straight up bad.
The first warlocks of the Horde were born, dealing terrible damage to the Draenei, while also magically aging the Orcish children to bolster their forces. Near the end of the war against the Draenei, there was only one city left to conquer, Shafra. But before they marched, they received a final gift. Kil'jaeden had sent his lieutenant Manoroth to Gul'dan, and Manoroth had spilled his own demonic blood for the orcs to drink. Ner'zhul witnessed these events, and he realized that if the orcs would drink this blood, they would become slaves forever. In a great act of defiance, he wrote a cryptic note to Durotan, warning him not to accept Gul'dan's offer. Durotan is Thrall's father, and one of the few orcs who constantly spoke out against Gul'dan's plans. He was the one who was rescued by the Draenei when he was a child, and he didn't believe that exterminating them was the best course of action. This warning saved Durotan and his clan from a fate worse than death. The gift offered to the orcs gave them incredible powers and the means to destroy the Draenei once and for all, but it also made them slaves to the Burning Legion. The orcs charged the city of Shafra with an incredible bloodlust, and they killed every man, woman and child they could find. Kil'jaeden watched this slaughter together with his lieutenant Manoroth, and he believed that his quest was finally over. There was no way that Velen could escape this onslaught. His brother Archimonde was whispering that he was wasting his time, so he and Manoroth left the planet behind and the orcs to their fate. What he didn't know was that Velen was not killed that day. The Draenei had left enough of their people behind to make it look like they were all dead, but in truth, Velen and the rest of his people were hiding in Zangarmarsh. Velen was told by the Naru that he needed to stay alive to fight another day, and that his destiny would lead his people to a better place. Velen accepted his wisdom, and he tried to survive for his people, but the loss of so many of his kind did hurt him in his very soul. In the meantime, the orcs, they were not doing any better. After their final attack on Shafra, they had no target left to use their bloodlust on, so they turned on each other. The corruption of their race had spread into the planet itself. The water had dried up and food was limited, so something had to be done. Kil'jaeden had left them to their fates after promising Gul'dan the world, but his master Sargeras had further use of the orcs. He made contact with Gul'dan, told him about Azeroth, and the first Orcish invasion would follow. The orcs would do terrible damage to Azeroth, but eventually the invasion would fail and Gul'dan lost his life. After they lost this war, it was Terran Gornfiend who came up with the plan of invading other planets besides Azeroth. They might have lost this war, but at least now they knew that there were more planets out there, planets that might not put up so much resistance. Ner'zhul was on board with this plan, so they collected the artifacts required and they made their way to the Black Temple to create these new portals. By the time that they made their way to the Black Temple, the Alliance was hot on their tail. To collect these artifacts, the Horde had to invade Azeroth for a second time, and the Alliance, they figured that they wanted to prevent the orcs from causing the same damage to other planets as they did to Azeroth. In the final moments of the story, Ner'zhul made his portals and he told the orcs who were with him to follow him to the Promised Land. They refused Ner'zhul at first, since they didn't want to leave their brothers behind, so Ner'zhul killed one of them, which motivated the rest to follow. Instead of reaching this so-called Promised Land, Ner'zhul ended in front of Kil'jaeden himself. Kil'jaeden was still pissed with him for betraying him, so he slowly ripped Ner'zhul's soul piece by piece. This caused Ner'zhul agonizing pain, and when his soul was no more, when it was all torn apart, Kil'jaeden reformed it and did it all over again.
175's mining! I can now mine Mithril, that's good.
Still wanted to conquer Azeroth. In order to weaken the world and get it ready for the new invasion, Kil'jaeden decided to give Ner'zhul one more chance. He bound his soul to the Helm of Damnation and he placed him on top of Icecrown, turning him into the Lich King. He also gave Ner'zhul additional powers he could use to manipulate, to control, to create the Scourge that would deal massive damage to the world. At first, Ner'zhul did exactly as he was told. With his new powers, he summoned powerful individuals who could aid him with his quest, and amongst them was Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad heard the summons of the Lich King, and he made his way to Northrend. There at Icecrown, he offered his services in exchange for immortality and incredible power.
I was cast out by my comrades, exiled, forced to wander the frozen wastes. But I was not alone. Not entirely. The voice, now my only companion, guided me to my destination. Strange, nightmarish creatures awaited me at the entrance. I felt my blood run cold as Icecrown itself. Inside, I bore witness to horrific acts, demonstrations of power. Power that could be mine for the asking. Terrified, I ran, but did not get far. All too soon, my choice was made. Too late did I realize that such power does not come without a price.
Ner'zhul was very pleased with this, and he sent Kel'Thuzad back home. Back in Lordaeron, Kel'Thuzad worked, and he formed the Cult of the Damned. This cult worshipped the Lich King, worshipped Ner'zhul, and they worked on spreading the plague.
My life for Ner'zhul.
This plague would not only kill the citizens of Lordaeron, it would also turn them into the undead, into the scourge that would turn on their own people. Everything went exactly as planned. Arthas found out about the plague, he killed Kel'Thuzad, he purged Trefhome, followed Mal'Ganis back to Northrend, and he picked up the blade Frostmourne. Frostmourne was cast out of the block of ice that imprisoned Ner'zhul, and Ner'zhul was able to communicate with Arthas through the blade. The blade also took a piece of his soul with him and turned Arthas into an agent of the Lich King, into one of the first new Death Knights. For months, Arthas roamed the land of Northrend, listening to the whispers of Ner'zhul until he returned home. Once home, he murdered his own father, destroyed his own kingdom, and weakened the defenses of Azeroth for the invasion of the Legion. By a cruel twist of fate, he was then told to resurrect Kel'Thuzad, since Kel'Thuzad had the power to open the way for the Burning Legion. Once that was done, once the Sunwell was destroyed and Kel'Thuzad was a lich, they moved to Dalaran, stole the Book of Medivh,
It was a
and used
bitch.
this to summon Archimonde into our world.
Come forth, Lord Archimonde. Enter this world and let us bask in your power. Tremble, mortals, and despair. Doom has come to this world. You have done well, little lich. My plan worked perfectly.
Lord Archimond, all the preparations have been made.
Very well, Tichondrius. Since the Lich King is of no further use to me, you Dreadlords will now command the Scourge.
As you wish, Lord Archimond.
Soon, I will order the invasion to begin. But first, I will make an example of these paltry wizards by crushing their city into the ashes of history.
This has got to be a joke. What happens to us now?
Be patient, young Death Knight. The Lich King foresaw this as well. You may yet have a part to play in his grand design.
This was all part of Killjaden's plan, and it seemed like Ner'zhul's part was played. But Ner'zhul was smart and he was powerful. He had bigger plans than this, and he wasn't about to spend the rest of his life trapped in a block of ice. He imagined that he could outsmart Kil'jaeden and use Arthas to set himself free. He told Arthas to find Illidan and point him towards the skull of his old apprentice, towards the skull of Gul'dan.
I am free after 10,000 years. Yet still my own brother thinks I am a villain. I'll show him my true power. I'll show him that the demons have no hold over me.
Are you certain of that, Demon Hunter? Are you certain your will is your own?
You reek of death, human. You'll regret approaching me.
Come then. You'll find that we're evenly matched.
Forever. What is it you truly want?
The Dreadlord who commands this undead army is called Tichondrius. He controls a powerful warlock artifact called the Skull of Gul'dan. It is responsible for corrupting these forests.
And you wish for me to steal it? Why?
Let's just say that I have no love for Tichondrius. And the Lord I serve would benefit from the Legion's downfall.
Why should I believe anything you say, little human?
My master sees all, Demon Hunter. He knows that you've sought power your whole life. Now it lies within your grasp. Seize it, and your enemies will be undone.
What? Who are you? Let's see how confident you are against one of your own kind, Dreadlord.
Kil'jaeden found out about this. He found out that Ner'zhul had sent Arthas to Illidan, and that Ner'zhul was planning to set himself free. As part of his own plans, Kil'jaeden talked of Illidan, and he told him to take out the Lich King.
Many months after the Legion's defeat at the Battle of Mount Hyjal, I was visited by one of the last great demon lords, Kil'jaeden.
Illidan, in the past you have been both friend and foe to the Burning Legion. But by consuming the skull of Gul'dan, you sealed our fate in this world. I come to offer you a second chance to serve us.
What would you have me do, Great One?
The creation of the Lich King has betrayed me. He dared to break the pact that binds him to my will. But his spirit still lies trapped inside the frozen throne of Ice Crown. Destroy it for me, and I will grant you your heart's desire.
It shall be done, Great One. It shall be done.
Illidan did his very best to destroy the Lich King, but his brother Malfurion stopped him. Since his spell didn't just destroy Ner'zhul, it was about to destroy Northrend as well. At that point in the story, Tyrande Whisperwind was missing, and since Illidan still loved her, he decided to help his brother with finding her. This means that he betrayed Kil'jaeden, that he didn't fulfill his mission, so once they found Tyrande, he fled the planet. He feared the wrath of Kil'jaeden, so Illidan decided it was a good idea to hide on Outland. Outland, formerly known as Draenor.
Given my failure, I fled to this desolate place to evade Kil'jaeden's wrath. Now, if I am to remain here in exile, we will need to ensure that Kil'jaeden's agents have been cleansed from the land.
Naturally, Kil'jaeden found him and he offered him one more chance.
Foolish little wanderer. You failed to destroy the frozen throne as I commanded. And still you thought to hide from me in this forsaken backwater. I thought you to be more cunning, Illidan.
Kil'jaeden, I was merely set back. I was attempting to bolster my forces. The Lich King will be destroyed. I promise you.
Indeed. Still, these servitors you've gathered show some promise. I will give you one last chance, Illidan. Destroy the frozen throne, or face my eternal wrath.
Perhaps hiding here was not the most prudent decision.
With his final chance, the race to Icecrown was on. Both Arthas and Illidan tried to reach the top of Icecrown, but in the end it was Arthas who defeated Illidan in combat and merged with Ner'zhul. Arthas was in such a hurry that he just left Illidan in the snow to die, but Illidan didn't die. Kil'jaeden's Sunstrider and Lady Vashj took Illidan back to Outland, and there they prepared their forces in the hope of standing against Kil'jaeden. They knew that one day Kil'jaeden would come to punish them for their failure, so they wanted to be ready and they spent their time preparing. In a strange twist of events during the Burning Crusade, the punishment never came. Instead, Kil'jaeden decided to leave Illidan to his fate and he recruited Kil'jaeden's Sunstrider to his cause. According to Magister Felendorn, Kil'jaeden was aware of Illidan's insanity after getting his ass kicked, so he switched paymasters accordingly. Apparently Kil'jaeden had enough of manipulating and letting others do his work. This time he decided to take matters into his own hands. Kil'jaeden's Sunstrider had spent his time in Outland collecting magic in Netherstorm, and they transported that magic to the Sunwell Plateau, not to restore the Sunwell, but to create a portal which would allow Kil'jaeden access into our world. They'd also captured Envina, and her story deserves a video on its own. The short version is that when Arthas used the Sunwell to resurrect Kel'Thuzad, he didn't corrupt it entirely. A part of its power was found by the red dragon Coriastras, and he transformed its power into a living being, Envina, and he did this to hide her away from the Scourge. Unfortunately, they found out who she really was, what she really was, and she was captured by Kil'jaeden. They dragged her to the Sunwell Plateau, and they planned to use her power to power the portal and bring Kil'jaeden into our world. Thankfully, we found out about all of this, and we made our way to the Sunwell Plateau to stop Kil'jaeden from ever setting foot on land.
All my plans have led to this. The expendable have perished. So be it. Now I shall succeed where Sargeras could not. I will bleed this wretched world and secure my place as the true master of the Burning Legion. The end has come. Let the unraveling of this world commence. The powers of the Sunwell turn against me. What have you done? What have you done?
This defeat is not the end of Kil'jaeden. We didn't kill him that day, we just pushed him back down his portal to wherever he currently is. It's interesting to note that Kil'jaeden says,
"Now I shall succeed where Sargeras could not. I will bleed this wretched world and secure my place as the true master of the Burning Legion."
This implies that there's a bit of a power struggle within the Burning Legion, and perhaps that Kil'jaeden isn't satisfied with just sitting at Sargeras' side. He apparently wants to rule it all. Even Chris Madsen said that this defeat only pissed him off, and now taking Azeroth is no longer just another mission, now it's personal. You can be certain that one day we will have to face off against Kil'jaeden in his full glory. A couple of you already asked me if we will see Kil'jaeden in Warlords of Draenor. At BlizzCon they said that Gul'dan is indeed on the phone with Kil'jaeden and that Garrosh is going to change one of the key moments in the Orcish history. He is going to prevent the orcs from drinking Manorov's blood, preventing them from ever becoming slaves to the Burning Legion. We don't know what other events are changed, we don't know what is going to happen like it happened in our timeline, but it is possible that we might have to fight Kil'jaeden. However, in my opinion, there is a small problem with that scenario. Even if we defeat Kil'jaeden on Ironhoard Draenor, we'd still have to deal with Kil'jaeden on our planet. So what kind of challenge or how much fun would it be to face him twice? Just imagine that we already defeated him in one expansion. What kind of a threat could he still be after we return home? This is just my take on it. For all we know, they are going to use the Burning Legion. We are going to see a full powered Kil'jaeden. We'll just have to wait to find out.
Mortal heroes, your victory here today was foretold long ago. My brother's anguished cry of defeat will echo across the universe, bringing renewed hope to all those who still stand against the burning crusade. As the Legion's final defeat draws ever nearer, stand proud in the knowledge that you have saved worlds without number from the flame.
The story of Archimonde does not begin with Archimonde himself. It begins with the Titans and Sargeras. The Titans had a mission to bring order to the universe. They shaped the worlds, they created life, and took out those who were against their vision. The Titans were led by the Pantheon, and their champion was called Sargeras, and his task was defending their mission against the darkness of the universe. He imprisoned countless of demons, dreadlords, and all kinds of evil creations. He performed his duty for thousands of years, but over time he began to doubt. If the universe was supposed to be all about order, then why was it fighting the Titans so much? Why was there so much evil and chaos in the world? Was that perhaps the way it's supposed to be? He talked with the other members of the Pantheon about this, but they couldn't help him. They weren't able to convince him of the truth of their mission, and Sargeras left the Pantheon. The corruption within himself, the doubt and despair, they started to manifest on the outside. Great flames burst forth out of his body, and Sargeras decided that the Titans' their mission was folly. That order was not the way to go, and that chaos was the only truth of the universe. His mission was no longer to protect the work of the Titans, quite the opposite. His mission became to destroy their work. In order to do that, he would need an army, so he made his way to the demons that he had imprisoned and he set them free. The demons in return were more than willing to join his army, and the Burning Legion was created. Sometime after this, Sargeras found a planet called Argus, and on this planet were very powerful beings, namely the Eredar. The Eredar were ruled by three leaders, namely Velen, Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. Sargeras wanted them into his army, so he made contact with the leaders and he showed them a future in which they would receive incredible power, knowledge beyond their imagination, and planets full of loving subjects who would worship and honor them. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden were directly on board with this plan. They were taken away by Sargeras and his powers. But the prophet Velen felt like something wasn't quite right. He meditated on this problem, and the Naru showed him the truth of the vision. The loving subjects were actually demons. The powers given would transform them into unnatural beings, and the planets they would come across would be destroyed. Velen saw that if they joined Sargeras, that the universe would be doomed, so he talked to his fellow leaders and showed them the truth. To his surprise, they didn't care about the truth. He had perhaps expected this from Archimonde, since he could sometimes easily be swayed if people played on his vanity. But Kil'jaeden, he had expected more of him. Kil'jaeden was the stronger one, he was decisive and he was wise, which is why Velen felt closer to Kil'jaeden, but even he was not convinced. They told Velen that this was just a vision in his mind, not a certain truth, and Velen realized that they now belonged to Sargeras. With the help of the Naru, Velen managed to gather as many of his people as he could, and he was ready to escape the planet. Unknown to him was that Sargeras had already started to turn some of his people, and they nearly killed Velen and his followers. Only because of the Naru was Velen able to escape the planet with his people, and Kil'jaeden was not happy about this. He took Velen's betrayal very personal, especially since they were so close, and he promised that he would find them and destroy them, even if it took 1,000 years. While Kil'jaeden kept himself busy with chasing the Draenei, Archimonde worked on serving his new master. Countless planets were waiting to be conquered, and he took great joy out of destroying each and every one of them. For countless years, the Legion would move from planet to planet without much resistance, until Sargeras found a planet known as Azeroth. This story takes place around 10,000 years ago, and they call this the War of the Ancients. This story is told in 3 pretty thick novels, so I'll have to keep the story short and focus it on Archimonde. In this time period, the Night Elves were the most sophisticated race on Azeroth. They wielded powerful magic given to them by the Well of Eternity. We don't know much about the well, where it came from or why it was created, but what we do know is that it was a great source of power. The Night Elves were ruled by Queen Azora, and she, together with her advisor Xavius and the Highborn, made first contact with Sargeras. They had been reckless with their magic, trying to draw more and more power from the well, and this had drawn the attention of the Legion. When Xavius called for his queen to inspect the portal, Sargeras called out to her, mesmerized her, and told her that he was coming. From that moment on, Azora was taken away by Sargeras. She envisioned his arrival as cleansing the world of any imperfections, turning it into something as perfect as she was. She even dreamed of ruling at Sargeras' side and becoming his queen. The portal that they had created was not strong enough to transport Sargeras to Azeroth, so they had to make it bigger. They also couldn't instantly teleport all of the Legion for a massive invasion. It happened in stages. First they sent the House Hakar, then they sent Manoroth, and they had the plan of sealing the well from all the other Night Elves. This way they could focus all the power from the Well of Eternity on the portal, but naturally this caused some resistance. The Night Elves were no longer able to use their magic to their full potential, so they moved to the palace to ask the queen what was going on. As the doors opened, the demons who were able to step through the portal marched out and they killed everything in sight. Queen Azora didn't care that her people had to be murdered. She only cared about Sargeras and their perfect world, and she saw this as cleansing the world and getting it ready for Sargeras. The rest of the Night Elves who weren't part of Azora's plans, they didn't just sit on their hands. A resistance was formed with thousands of Night Elves ready to save their queen. They loved her so much that they couldn't understand that it was their own queen who willingly led them all to their slaughter. So they placed the blame on Xavius and the other Highborn. Those that did realize what was going on, like Malfurion, Tyrande, Illidan, they played a key role in the resistance. Malfurion's skills as a druid allowed him to defeat Xavius, and he closed the portal that Manoroth had created, halting the Legion's invasion, but he didn't completely stop it. Too many demons had flowed through the portal already to instantly take back their cities, and this gave Manoroth enough time to reopen the portal and admit his failure to Sargeras. Except that the voice that replied to him from the other side of the portal, it was not Sargeras, but his left-hand man Archimonde. Sargeras was very disappointed in Manoroth, and it was time to bring out the big guns. Archimonde was a tactical mastermind with plenty of troops to spare, while the Night of Resistance had a very few strong players, but the troops were limited. Archimonde made good use of this. He trapped the Night Elves a couple of times, but what he didn't count on was that the dragons would aid the Night Elves. The dragon aspects had of course noticed what happened to the world, and it was Deathwing, by order of the Old Gods, who came up with a plan to create the Dragon Soul. A tiny disc fueled by a small portion of each aspect's their power, which would allow them to banish the Legion from Azeroth. What the aspects didn't know was that Deathwing was crazy and he was under the control of the Old Gods. He convinced the others to give up a portion of their power while he kept all of his power to himself, making him stronger than the other aspects. Archimonde had calculated on maybe a few of the dragons showing up to fight, but the full might of 5 dragonflights was something he didn't see coming. When Deathwing arrived on the battlefield, he used the disc on the Legion and the Night Elves cheered while the demons retreated. Then Deathwing's madness took over, and he also used the disc against the Night Elves' resistance and even his fellow dragons. In his mind, all the world was against him, and they should all bow down to his power. He nearly wiped out the entire blue dragonflight, but using the Dragon Soul did not come without consequences, and Deathwing's body began to crack. The madness within him now started to show on the outside, so he left them all to fight over the world while he went to his cave and repair himself. Whoever won the war, Deathwing didn't care if it was the Burning Legion or the Night Elves. Either one of them would bow down to his immense power, and with that he left the battlefield. Deathwing and the Demon Soul, as they now called the disc, they were a problem for the future. For now, the Night Elf army had the hold against the Legion. Their commander, Lord Ravencrest, had been murdered, so Lord Destel Stareye took command over the resistance. Stareye was a noble, a fool, and he lacked the tactical mind of Ravencrest. Archimonde made full use of this, and he had his army retreat, and Stareye thought that his tactics were working, that they were able to push the Legion back. In his arrogance, he forgot to look up in the sky where massive amounts of Doomguards were flying over the troops, and in their hands they held pots with red liquid. They poured the liquid over the army, and anything that it touched died a horrible death with flesh melting away. Jared's Shadow Song tried to warn Stareye about what was going on, and he urged him to take command, reform the lines, and shoot the demons from the sky. Stareye, however, was stunned with seeing so much death around him and knowing that his tactics had failed. Up in the sky, Jared saw more Doomguard coming, and he tried to pull Stareye away. Realizing that the commander wouldn't move, he turned his mount around and he rode off just in time before the liquid killed Stareye and all those around him. Archimonde's tactics could have crushed the Night Elves right there, but Jared unwillingly took command of the host. He ordered archers to shoot down the Doomguards, and he reformed the lines, holding the land against the Legion. Now the Night Elves had a chance again. They had a commander not placed in his position because of his title or his status, but because he had a good mind on his shoulders and was able to lead. That did not mean that the victory would come easy, since the demons returned to the battlefield with even more numbers than before. The Legion had countless soldiers living for the pleasure of torment and battle, and Archimonde was not afraid to use them all. This meant that the Night Elves needed new allies, and Malfurion Stormrage had talked with his teacher, the demigod Cenarius, about asking the other demigods for help. It took a very long time to convince the demigods to join the war effort, but when they did, they killed hundreds, thousands of demons. Being demigods did not make them invincible though, and as each demigod fell to the Legion, Cenarius pushed himself harder to make up for their loss. It seemed like Cenarius himself would fall to the endless numbers of the Legion, but his father Malorn stepped up and saved his life. He raced through the battlefield, and he gave the Night Elves a chance to drag Cenarius back. Upon doing so, Archimonde himself entered the battle, and he fought with this powerful demigod. Malorn is a white stag, and he charged Archimonde with his antlers. He even gave him a good fight, but in the end Archimonde managed to place Malorn in a headlock. He slowly twisted the demigod's head in an awkward angle. A tremendous cracking sound echoed through the region, one that for just a brief moment caused all other noises to cease. Archimonde had killed Cenarius' father. In response, Malfurion unleashed his untapped powers as he tried to avenge the father of his mentor. Great vines spread around Archimonde, which didn't bother him at first. He ripped the small vines, he tried to throw them away, only to see the vines grab onto him again. More and more vines seized his body, and he tried frantically to rip them away. Malfurion kept his eyes on the Demon Lord as he repeated his spell, and Archimonde realized that he couldn't free himself, so he clapped his hands and he vanished in a great ball of green fire. So great was Archimonde's power, and Malfurion felt like he had failed his teacher. Malfurion was able to send Archimonde away from the battlefield, at least for the moment, but he didn't vanquish him. Near the end of the story, Sargeras was very close to entering Azeroth, and Archimonde realized that he had failed his master. He would be punished, just like Manoroth would be punished, but it didn't mean that he would just sit and wait for it to happen. He was going to entertain himself, vent some of his rage upon those who foolishly thought that they could stand against the might of the Legion. Archimonde returned to the battlefield once more, killing demons, night elves, dragons, anything that stood in his path. Jared Shadowsong saw the giant approaching, and although he knew that he wouldn't stand a chance, he was not about to surrender. He drew his blade and said, "I await you, Archimonde," and the archdemon laughed. To his credit, Jared stood his ground while Archimonde beat him senseless, and Jared himself wasn't even able to touch the Demon Lord. What they didn't know was that Malfurion and several others had made their way to the Well of Eternity, and they managed to use the Demon Soul to reverse the portal. This did not only stop Sargeras from entering Azeroth, but it also sucked the Legion back to where it came from. The Legion, Manoroth, Archimonde, none of them stood a chance against the power of the well. As a side effect, the well was imploding and the land of Kalimdor was about to split apart. The Night Elves fled all the way to Mount Hyjal as the world reshaped itself and turned into how we know it as today. Before this happened, Illidan managed to fill a couple of vials with water from the original well, and he used this on a lake of water to create a new well. The Night Elves had just ended a war against the Legion. A war started because of the original well and dabbling in magic, so they were not happy about this. They wanted to execute Illidan on the spot, but his brother Malfurion pleaded for his life and imprisoned him. Archimonde returned to the battlefield once more, killing demons, night elves, dragons, anything that stood in his path. Jared Shadowsong saw the giant approaching, and although he knew that he wouldn't stand a chance, he was not about to surrender. He drew his blade and said, "I await you, Archimonde," and the archdemon laughed. To his credit, Jared stood his ground while Archimonde beat him senseless, and Jared himself wasn't even able to touch the Demon Lord. What they didn't know was that Malfurion and several others had made their way to the Well of Eternity, and they managed to use the Demon Soul to reverse the portal. This did not only stop Sargeras from entering Azeroth, but it also sucked the Legion back to where it came from. The Legion, Manoroth, was very close to entering Azeroth, and Archimonde realized that he had failed his master. He would be punished, just like Manoroth would be punished, but it didn't mean that he would just sit and wait for it to happen. He was going to entertain himself, vent some of his rage upon those who foolishly thought that they could stand against the might of the Legion. Archimonde returned to the battlefield once more, killing demons, night elves, dragons, anything that stood in his path. Jared Shadowsong saw the giant approaching, and although he knew that he wouldn't stand a chance, he was not about to surrender. He drew his blade and said, "I await you, Archimonde," and the archdemon laughed. To his credit, Jared stood his ground while Archimonde beat him senseless, and Jared himself wasn't even able to touch the Demon Lord. What they didn't know was that Malfurion and several others had made their way to the Well of Eternity, and they managed to use the Demon Soul to reverse the portal. This did not only stop Sargeras from entering Azeroth, but it also sucked the Legion back to where it came from. The Legion, Manoroth, Archimonde, none of them stood a chance against the power of the Well. As a side effect, the Well was imploding and the land of Kalimdor was about to split apart. The Night Elves fled all the way to Mount Hyjal as the world reshaped itself and turned into how we know it as today. Before this happened, Illidan managed to fill a couple of vials with water from the original well, and he used this on a lake of water to create a new well. The Night Elves had just ended a war against the Legion. A war started because of the original well and dabbling in magic, so they were not happy about this. They wanted to execute Illidan on the spot, but his brother Malfurion pleaded for his life and they imprisoned him instead. To turn this curse into a blessing, the Dragon Aspects decided to plant the World Tree Nordersail over the new well, and they gave it their blessing. For as long as the tree would stand, the Night Elves would be immortal, time would be at their side, and they would have a chance to learn. Before they imprisoned Illidan, he warned them that the Legion would return, that they would thank him one day for creating this well, and that they would need him once more. His warning would become a reality, since Sargeras still wanted to conquer the world, and during Warcraft 3, the Legion returns. Archimonde's brother Kil'jaeden had sent Ner'zhul to Azeroth to start weakening the world and getting it ready for their invasion. Ner'zhul recruited Kel'Thuzad into his army, and Kel'Thuzad created the Cult of the Damned. This cult worked on spreading the plague through Lordaeron, which would not only kill its citizens, but also turn them into the undead, turn them into Scourge, and make them servants of the Legion. Eventually even Arthas would become a Death Knight, and he resurrected Kel'Thuzad into a Lich. They moved to Dalaran, stole the Book of Medivh, and they summoned Archimonde into the world.
Come forth, Lord Archimonde. Enter this world and let us bask in your power.
Tremble, mortals, and despair. Doom has come to this world. You have done well, little Lich. My plan worked perfectly.
Lord Archimonde, all the preparations have been made.
Very well, Tichondrius. Since the Lich King is of no further use to me, you Dreadlords will now command the Scourge.
As you wish, Lord Archimonde.
Soon, I will order the invasion to begin. But first, I will make an example of these paltry wizards by crushing their city into the ashes of history.
This has got to be a joke. What happens to us now?
Be patient, young Death Knight. The Lich King foresaw this as well. You may yet have a part to play in his grand design.
Agir, usar, lutaros. Agir, mudas, vetalu. Daletaro, ildas glaku. Rithum sethara samanar, kutamus. Belar sumares, Azaratha, Rakas, Ilkula. Belanora, Mordanos Nelar, Ilamur no Falos Kadar.
Archimonde placed the Dreadlord Tichondrius in charge of the Forsaken Army, and he destroyed Dalaran as a display of power. This placed Arthas and Kel'Thuzad out of the picture for now, and Archimonde had learned his lesson from the first invasion. There were defenses on Azeroth that he needed to be careful of, and he ordered Manoroth to take out the demigod Cenarius. For this task, Manoroth decided to use the orcs who once served Kil'jaeden, and he enslaved them once more. Grom Hellscream and his warriors were chopping trees in Ashenvale, and this angered Cenarius and made him appear. He destroyed the orcs their base, and it looked like he was too powerful for even Grom Hellscream. One of the witch doctors in his army sensed a powerful dark power within the forest, which led the orcs to a pool full of Manoroth's blood. When they found the pool, the witch doctor warned Grom not to drink. One of his warriors told him that this was against all that Thrall had tried to change, but Grom didn't listen. He embraced the powers from the pool, used them to kill Cenarius, and in the process placed his people in chains.
Though you orcs failed the Burning Legion before, you will now serve us once again. No.
Now they were servants of the Legion again, just like they were back on Draenor. Thankfully for Grom, Jaina, Proudmoore and Thrall were told by the Prophet Medivh that they had to work together to stand against the Legion, and Jaina helped Thrall cleanse Grom from the demon's corruption. Afterwards, Grom and Thrall they teamed up, they found Manoroth, and Grom killed the Pit Lord, setting his people free and killing himself in the process. Archimonde didn't care about losing Manoroth since his mission was a success. Manoroth had killed the demigod Cenarius, opening the way further for the invasion.
The undead are tireless. There's no way to outrun them.
You see, Lord Archimonde, we need not fear the Night Elves. The Scourge can...
Archimonde, after 10,000 years, how is it possible?
The Legion has returned to consume this world, woman. And this time, your troublesome race will not stop us. Don't let her slip away. Find her, damn you. Find her and kill her.
The day we have long feared has finally come. The Burning Legion has returned. I must cross the river and warn the rest of my sisters before all is lost.
Tyrande moved to awaken Malfurion from the Emerald Dream to help against the Legion's invasion. She also decided that it was a good idea to release Illidan from his prison, hoping that he would help them against the Legion. Illidan's love for Tyrande was so strong that even after 10,000 years of rotting away in jail, he still agreed to help her.
It has been an eternity, brother. An eternity spent in darkness.
Illidan, you were sentenced to pay for your sins. Nothing more.
And who are you to judge me? We fought the demons side by side, if you recall.
Enough of this, both of you. What is done is done. My love, with Illidan's help, we will drive the demons back once again and save what is left of our beloved land.
Have you even considered the cost, Tyrande? This betrayer's aid may doom us all before the end. I will have nothing to do with this.
Malfurion wasn't okay with Tyrande's plan of setting Illidan free, so Illidan moved away from them and decided to do it on his own. He met with the Death Knight Arthas, who pointed him towards the skull of Gul'dan. The skull was being used by the Dreadlord Tychondrius to corrupt the forest, and its powers would give Illidan the strength to defeat him.
Foul
Where would
demon.
you like to fly to?
What have you done with my brother?
It is I, Furion. This is what I've become.
No. Illidan, how could you?
The leader of the undead has been destroyed, and the forests will heal in time.
At the cost of your soul? You are no brother of mine. Be gone from this place, and never set foot in our lands again.
So be it, brother.
By absorbing the skull, Illidan transformed and he looked so demonic that his own twin brother didn't even recognize him. The powers granted by the skull did allow him to kill a Dreadlord and he did save the forest, but still, Malfurion and Tyrande, they condemned his actions and they banished him from their lands. This had cost them a powerful ally, but thankfully Thrall and Jaina would arrive to offer their help. In a dream, the Prophet Medivh had summoned them all together. He had summoned Malfurion and he explained his history with the Legion and his plan of stopping their invasion. Orcs, humans and Night Elves would have to team up. They would have to put away their differences, their hatred towards each other, for the greater good. They knew that Archimonde would make his way to the World Tree Nordrassil. There he could absorb the powers from the well, and while he did this he could also take away the Night Elves' immortality. Malfurion knew that they could never take Archimonde head on, so he came up with a plan. Each faction would do its job and they would slow down Archimonde. This would give Malfurion the time to summon the Guardians of the Forest.
You are very brave to stand against me, little human. If only your countrymen had been as bold, I would have had more fun scouring your wretched nations from the world.
Is talking all you demons do?
Stormrage, show yourself. Or do you intend to have mortal girls do all your fighting for you? You orcs are weak and hardly worth the effort. I wonder why Manaroth even bothered with you.
Our spirit is stronger than you know, demon. If we are to fall, then so be it. At least now, we are free.
The wretched little whelp actually hurt me. Are there none left to stand against the Legion? This is almost too easy. If I had known that this mortal resistance would be so weak, I would have launched this invasion centuries ago.
Archimonde's victory here has made him overconfident. He will not see the trap that I laid for him until it is too late.
At last, the way to the World Tree is clear. Witness the end, you mortals. The final hour has come.
It was Archimonde's arrogance that had him believe that he easily defeated the defenses of the world. He didn't pay attention to the small wisp gathering, and he had his eyes only on the world tree Nordrasil. A thousand wisps detonated simultaneously, blowing up Archimonde as well as the World Tree. This cost the Night Elves their immortality, but it also stopped the Legion's invasion of Azeroth. A small price to pay for the survival of the world. Does this mean that Archimonde's story is completely done? Well, it is for the moment, but we also know that certain demons can never be killed on our planet. The only way to truly end them is killing them within the Twisting Nether. Is that the case for Archimonde? Well, we don't know, but it leaves a window open for Blizzard if they ever want to bring him back into the story. I'll leave it up to you to decide if that's a good thing or not. Is it possible that we will see Archimonde in Warlords of Draenor? It's possible, but much like Kil'jaeden, the question is, how big of a threat would Archimonde be? We already defeated him once in Warcraft 3 and once in the Caverns of Time. Does that leave any kind of challenge if you know that you've defeated him before? My personal take on it is that Archimonde would be an awesome fight, especially if they would team him up with someone like Gul'dan or maybe even Manoroth. That would be brilliant. I don't really care that I've defeated him before, since last time we had to blow up a tree, we had to gather 3 different armies, we had to destroy the Night Elf's immortality to destroy Archimonde. Imagine what a fight it could be if we don't have any tricks, just us against this demon lord. I would love to see it, but again, that's just my take on it. The story of Velen the Prophet and his Draenei is a very long story. He and his people have been around for quite a while, so I might not be able to get all the details in, but I'll sure as hell try. The story begins around 20,000 years ago, and to put it in perspective, the Well of Eternity didn't explode until around 10,000 years ago, give or take a few years by now. The Draenei called themselves Eredar back then, and in the time they lived on the planet named Argus. Their leaders were called Archimonde, Kil'jaeden, and Velen the Prophet. Now these 3, they were not just leading together, they were like soul brothers, man. They were so evolved that they could communicate and share visions with their minds. And yeah, they were just very, very close. And Velen was the only one with the gift of sight. Now one day on the planet of Argus, they received a visit from Sargeras. He found great potential in the Eredar and he promised them the universe. Worlds to explore, people to adore them, knowledge from far and wide just for them to study. All they had to do was pledge their loyalty to Sargeras. Now Kil'jaeden and Archimonde, they were directly on board with this plan, but to Velen, something didn't quite feel right. He went to the Atamal crystal, a gift to his people from a time long forgotten, and he meditated about this. At first he saw the same vision as Sargeras had promised them, but then the vision changed to show his true plans. In this real vision, Velen looked at himself and the others, and he saw that they were transformed into horrific beings. The loving people that would follow them changed into demonic beings of the Twisting Nether. Worlds were aflame and the Burning Legion conquered them one by one. With this knowledge, with this truth in his mind, he went back to his brothers, but Archimonde and Kil'jaeden, they were already sold. They didn't put much value in Velen's visions, and even so, they simply didn't care. Velen realized that if they would pledge their loyalty to Sargeras, then the universe would fall. So desperately, he prayed for help, and received an answer from the Naru, specifically the Naru named Kur. The Naru, beings of light and dead set on stopping the Burning Legion, told Velen to gather as many as he could. To help him with this task, Velen asked his trusted friend Talgov to help him, and yeah, they gathered on a hill and they waited for rescue. In the meantime, Velen had taken the Atamal crystal with him, the Naru had told him to do so, and in the distance he could see Talgov. The crystal warned him that what he saw was not the truth, and in reality Sargeras had already begun with transforming the Eradar into Manari. Manari is the Eradar word for something twisted, unnatural, tainted by foul magic. Was it not for the crystal, Velen would not have seen the betrayal until it was way too late. His corrupted brothers and sisters slowly made their way towards the Gather group, and desperately Velen called to the heavens. And the heavens responded. A bright light hit the Atamal crystal and separated it in 7 individual crystals, all with a different color. A shield was formed around Velen and those that he had gathered, and above them a ship appeared. The Naru had kept their word, and they told Velen to bring the 7 crystals with him, for he would surely need them. Just in time, the Eradar managed to escape the planet, and from that moment on, they would call themselves Draenei, also known as Exiled Ones.
The Naru have not forgotten us.
Kil'jaeden took this betrayal of Velen very personal, and he swore that he would find him, even if it took 1,000 years. And so the chase was on. The Draenei would run, Kil'jaeden and the Burning Legion would follow. Every time they came close, Velen would be warned, or one of the crystals would allow Velen and his people to escape in time. It's not explained what happened to the planets that they left behind, but it's not hard to imagine that the Burning Legion conquered them. This went on for a very long time, until around 200 years ago, the Draenei had to make a crash landing on the planets they would call Draenor. For some reason, the Naru named Kur had fallen ill, so they couldn't use the ship anymore and they were stuck on the planet. It was Talgov who found the Draenei again, and he told Kil'jaeden. This time Kil'jaeden had a better plan in mind. Instead of going in with his full force with the might of the Burning Legion and just to see the Draenei escape again, he decided to use another race that lived on Draenor. He decided to use the Orcs. He manipulated them into becoming a fighting force known as the First Horde. This also included offering the blood of his servant Manoroth, which gave the Orcs incredible powers, but also made them slaves. When the attack started, the Draenei were pretty confused. Before this, they weren't exactly allies with the Orcs, but they had been trading with them. There was even a moment where they saved the lives of 2 of these Orcs, and one of those Orcs was the father of Thrall, Enel's named Durotan, and the other was Orgrim Doomhammer. When Velen figured out what was going on, that Kil'jaeden was behind it, he tried to make peace with the Orcs. He ended up in front of Durotan and told him that he wanted to take them all to Oshugan. Oshugan was actually the ship that the Draenei crashed with, but over the years had become a sacred place to the Orcs. When Naru fall ill or enter their death cycle, they enter a cycle called the Void, where they unwillingly suck up all the light that they can, including the souls of the departed. The Naru Kur had befriended the souls of the departed Orcs, and he had inspired the shamans of the Orcs to take care of him. That made this place very sacred to the Orcs, and when Velen told them that this was because of the Draenei and the Naru, well, that pissed them off. Imagine that the one that you are told is your enemy, the Draenei, is now telling you that your most sacred place is because of them. They weren't exactly happy with that. In fact, they were very insulted, and it took everything Durotan had to keep his people from murdering Velen on the spot. His orders were to deliver Velen to Ner'zhul, but because of their past, because the Draenei saved his life, and because he didn't exactly trust Ner'zhul, he decided to let Velen go. This action did not stop the Horde from marching on. It was their mission to kill every Draenei they could find, and near the end they were corrupted by foul magic, they were corrupted by demon blood, all kinds of vile things. The war would come to a conclusion with a final assault on Shafra city. The Draenei had made a plan to leave enough of the people behind so that Velen and some of the others could flee to Zangarmarsh and live another day. This pained Velen greatly because leaving his people behind is not something easy to do, but the Naru assured him that he and his people had to survive. They still had a role to play in the army of light against the Burning Legion, so they had to survive. The Orcs, they sacked the city. The Draenei who stand behind sacrificed their life, and their plan went as good as they hoped. Kil'jaeden believed all the Draenei to be dead, and he left the Orcs to their fate. The planet of Draenor was all but destroyed, the use of foul magic had corrupted the land as much as it had the Orcs, food and water was becoming a rare thing, and all of this led to the first Orcish invasion of Azeroth. For Velen and his people, times were not any easier. Some of the Draenei who had stayed behind in Shafra, they managed to survive. During the battle, a strange red mist entered the city, and the effects of it only became clear later on. What happened was that some of the Draenei that had breathed in this mist, they started to devolve. And they started to devolve into the form known as the Broken. Not only did their bodies change, they also had trouble with speaking, with thinking, and to a race like the Draenei that was so highly evolved, that fate was just horrible, man. You would imagine that the other Draenei would be very happy with some of these survivors, because at this point in time there weren't that many Draenei left. What happened instead is that they decided to send all the broken away and separate them from the healthy ones. They feared that their condition was somehow contagious, and so they just sent them all away to their separate camps. Amongst those broken that they sent away was a former paladin named Nobundo. And not only did he turn into a broken, he also lost his connection to the light. Years he tried to reconnect, but instead he received an answer from a completely different source. This source was the elements, once allies to the shamans of the Orc, and they now came to Nobundo. They offered him their power, their allegiance, in return for his respect for the elements. Years of training with the elements would follow, and the day came that Nobundo returned to the people that had turned him away. He offered his wisdom of the elements, but still the Draenei wanted nothing to do with him. Only Velen the Prophet, who had received a vision of Nobundo, recognized him as part of the salvation for their people. And so the race of the Draenei, first only highly attuned to the light, now began their training in the ways of shamanism.
Not all who wander are lost.
Now this was not just an event that happened in a week, right? It took him years to learn the craft of shamanism. And in the meantime, the world around the Draenei didn't exactly stand still. Actually, some major events happened, but I'm going to have to keep this short to focus the story on Velen. The Horde tried to invade Azeroth, but they were pushed back and the portal was closed behind them. Ner'zhul opened several rifts to different worlds, causing Draenor to nearly destroy itself and turning it into Outland as we know it today. Macfarridon used those rifts to summon more demons, and he proclaimed himself as Lord of Outland. Khadgar looked for help with his Burning Legion problem, and the Naaru, led by Adal, aided them to take Shafra City. Now sometime after the destruction of Draenor, the Naaru brought the Tempest Keep to Outland. In Azeroth, the events of Warcraft 3 took place. Arthas assaulted Silvermoon City, nearly wiping out all the High Elves, and used the Sunwell to resurrect Kel'Thuzad. This action destroyed the Sunwell, and it cut the High Elves of their source for magic. They would now start to call themselves Blood Elves, and Kael'thas Sunstrider was their leader. Kael'thas would eventually ally himself with Lady Vash, and later would ally with Illidan, whose story would take them back to Outland. There they teamed up with another broken named Akama, and together they sealed the rifts that Macfarridon was using, and this was to prevent him from getting any more forces in. They eventually imprisoned Macfarridon, and Illidan took over the Black Temple. This wasn't exactly what Akama had in mind, so he waited until we arrived to overthrow Illidan, but that's a different story. Now those are the events in a very short version, and at this point Illidan is under the command of Kil'jaeden, and he was told to stop Arthas from merging with the Lich King. He failed in his mission, and together with Kael'thas and Lady Vash, they returned to Outland and they started to prepare a defense against Kil'jaeden. Now for some reason, this could be because of Illidan, this could be because of Kael'thas himself, but at some point they sent his troops to assault Shafra City, which, as I said, was in the hands of Adal. The Blood Elf troops that he sent were under the leadership of Voronthal the Seer. However, Voronthal had received a vision which showed him that the only hope for his race to survive did not lie with Kael'thas, but with Adal. As they arrived at Shafra, they laid down their weapons and they pledged their allegiance to Adal and the Naaru, which was a heavy blow for Kael'thas because these were some of his finest troops. Another assault from Kael'thas and his troops was on the Tempest Keep. They wanted to use its technology for their own benefit, and inside the keep, they only found a Naaru named Muru to defend it. Kael'thas easily captured the Naaru, and he sent them to Silvermoon City, where they would use its power of the light to empower paladins of the Blood Elves. And these paladins were also known as Blood Knights. Lady Liadrin was the first to do this, and so she became their leader. After the Blood Elves had taken over the Tempest Keep, Velen decided that it was time to search for a new place to take refuge. Together with Nobundo and the rest of his people, he personally led an assault on the Tempest Keep, specifically the part known as the Exodar. They took control of the ship, but the Blood Elves figured out what they were doing and they sabotaged it. This caused the ship to spin out of control through the twisting nether until it landed on a planet known as Azeroth.
1 month ago, a terrible explosion tore open the skies above northern Kalimdor. At that moment, the great ship Exodar plummeted from the heavens and crashed upon the world of Azeroth. Having fled the ravaged world of Outland, the noble Draenei used the dimension-traveling Exodar to reach safe haven. Inspired by tales of the heroic alliance that stood against the might of the Burning Legion, the Draenei have come to enlist aid in retaking their shattered homeland. Dedicated to preserving life and upholding the tenets of the Holy Light, the Draenei hope to gather a new coalition of warriors to battle the Burning Legion and put a halt to its horrific burning crusade. Armed only with courage and their unshakable faith in the light, the Draenei look forward to finding the Alliance and ushering them towards the destiny that awaits beyond the skies of Azeroth.
This brings us to the events of the Burning Crusade, where the story takes us to the Tempest Keep. In the meantime, Kael'thas has changed his allegiance since Illidan has gone rather crazy after his defeat by the hands of Arthas. Kael'thas no longer serves Illidan, he now serves Kil'jaeden. We fight with him of course, but we don't exactly finish him off. He somehow manages to survive the assault and he sends his new troops, the Fellbloods, to attack his own city of Silvermoon and bring the Naru Muru to the Sunwell Plateau. This attack leads to Lady Liadrin to seek a new source of power for her and the Blood Knights. She travels to Shafra City to visit the Naru Adal and she begs him for forgiveness for what they had done with Muru. Adal reveals that the events were prophesied by Velen long ago. Silvery Moon washed in blood, led astray into the night, armed with the sword of broken light. Broken, then betrayed by one, standing there bestride the sun. At darkest hour, redemption comes, a knightly lady sworn to blood. It was no mistake that Muru was the only Naru left in the Tempest Keep, and all events happened exactly as they were supposed to. I see it clearly now. I renounced my loyalties to the House Sunstrider and its false prince. I pledged the blades of my Blood Knights to the defeat of Kil'jaeden and the restoration of Silvermoon. We will fight beside you, Adal. Draenei and Blood Elf band together to stop Kael'thas and the summoning of Kil'jaeden. Along the way, we encounter Muru again and were forced to fight him. In the end, we managed to stop Kil'jaeden, and this is the point where we see Velen again.
Not all who wander.
Mortal heroes, your victory here today was foretold long ago. My brother's anguished cry of defeat will echo across the universe, bringing renewed hope to all those who still stand against the Burning Crusade. As the Legion's final defeat draws ever nearer, stand proud in the knowledge that you have saved worlds without number from the flame. Just as this day marks an ending, so too does it herald a new beginning. The creature Entropius, whom you were forced to destroy, was once the noble Naru, Muru. In life, Muru channeled vast energies of light and hope. For a time, a misguided few sought to steal those energies.
Our arrogance was unpardonable. We damned one of the most noble beings of all. We may never atone for this sin.
Then fortunate it is that I have reclaimed the noble Naru's spark from where it fell. Where faith dwells, hope is never lost, young blood elf.
Can it be?
Gaze now, mortals, upon the heart of Muru. Unblemished, bathed by the light of creation, just as it was at the dawn. In time, the light and hope held within will rebirth more than this mere fount of power. Mayhap they will rebirth the soul of a nation.
Blessed ancestors! I feel it! So much love. So much grace. There are no words. Impossible to describe.
Salvation, young one. It waits for us all. Farewell.
He has taken the core of the defeated Narumuru and he uses it to restore the Sunwell to its former glory, saving the Blood Elf race from their addiction, and in time they will heal.
Empowered by the holy light and the undying strength of their convictions, the Draenei led the charge against the demonic Burning Legion in Outland. Now, with the Legion's defeat, they have completed the desperate mission that first brought them to Azeroth. Though some Draenei were sent back to Outland to revitalize their former civilization, the majority have vowed to remain and uphold their sacred commitment to the Alliance. Driven by a powerful vision, the immortal prophet Velen believes that a great war between the darkness and the light is fast approaching, and that Azeroth will be its principal battleground. As one of Velen's chosen, you must stand bravely before the Shadow and ensure that your people are ready for the war to come.
That's the end of the Burning Crusade story, and unfortunately after that we don't see a whole lot of Velen or the Draenei. He makes an appearance every now and again, but nothing really important. Outside of the game, in the novels and in the stories, we learn that he has taken Anduin Wrynn under his wing and he teaches him the ways of the light. In Velen's short story on the WoW website, he receives a vision about Anduin leading the army of light. Instead of the prince, an armored warrior stood before him, his plate helm and breastplate shining with the essence of the light itself. The warrior wielded a sword forged from the same material as the armor, held it aloft as he perched on an outcropping. Whether it was on another world or Azeroth, Velen couldn't quite tell. And suddenly the dark sky above erupted with the combined chivalry of Azeroth's races. The Blood Elves, Orcs, Trolls, Tauren, and even the accursed undead and scheming goblins rode flying mounts of every sort and description. They were armored and armed in magical weaponry, glowing with so much power it hurts Velen's eyes to look at them. Besides the legions of the Horde, the ancient Night Elves charged with humans, dwarves and gnomes, whose ancestors formed the original alliance. And the shape-changing Worgen were united with them. Velen's own Draenei bolstered the army, their ranks adorned in otherworldly metals and bearing crystalline maces and swords. The Alliance and Horde were not alone. Dragons swooped and soared in formations that made the sky resemble a giant, multicolored reptilian wing. They blanketed the horizon with their physical size and numbers, and when they roared a challenge, it shook not just the earth Velen stood on, but the universe as well. And yet, for all this, the greatest shock to Velen's senses came as he saw those that flew just beyond the army of dragons. The Naru had taken the field, so many that Velen didn't understand how creation could contain them. The power of these beings of light filled Velen's heart with hope, swept away the lonely centuries, and left him wonder that he could ever despair, that the dark, no matter how terrible, could ever truly reign. And then a shadow fell. It was vast and empty and swallowed all light that entered it. Velen knew it would be all-consuming until at last it would turn and devour itself, endlessly gnawing on nothing in the great dark beyond, removing all meaning from the universe, from the most heartbreaking sonata to the most arresting sunset. It was too terrible to see, to comprehend, and yet the army headed straight for it, and the light began to fade. Right now, Anduin is just a priest, and in my opinion he still needs a whole lot of story development if they're ever going to make him lead the army. With that said, the vision is there, the prophecy is there, and we know where the story will take us. As I told you all at the start, Velen and the Draenei are very old, and he and his people have been through a lot. Still to this day, they try to stop their fallen brothers from destroying the universe. Together with the Alliance and the Horde, they prevented Kil'jaeden from coming to our world, and in the future I'm sure they, the Naru and the Light will play a vital role in the coming battles against the Legion. How the story will unfold? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. To understand the Guardians, we'll first have to go back and look at how the first humans became mages. Way back when, around 10,000 years ago, the Night Elves and the Highborn had the Well of Eternity, from which they drew their magical powers. They did this without caring about the consequences, and it drew the attention of the Burning Legion. Sargeras himself showed up, and Queen Azora wanted to summon him into our world so that Sargeras could destroy everything and reshape the world into perfection. She then envisioned ruling the world together with Sargeras, but things didn't go exactly as planned. Several races, and even the demigods and the dragon aspects, they teamed up to fight the Burning Legion, and in the end they managed to destroy the portal. This also caused the Well of Eternity to implode and the land of Kalimdor to split apart.
Illidan! The well is out of control! Aye. It's been twisted and turned by too many spells. The fuss we, especially you, made with the portal was too much. The same spell that sent the Burning Legion back into their foul realm now works on the well. It's devouring itself and taking its surroundings with it. Fascinating, isn't it?
Not if we're caught up in it. Why weren't you running? What have you been doing with your hand in the well?
Illidan Stormrage was not a highborn, but he did use magic, and before the well imploded he scooped up some water and put it in several vials. He then used this water on top of Mount Hyjal to create a second Well of Eternity. The Night Elves, they just lost everything because of reckless use of magic, and now another well was created. They first wanted to execute Illidan on the spot, but his brother Malfurion pleaded for him, and instead they imprisoned him for life. Several Highborn did not agree with Queen Ajara's choices, and they joined the resistance before she was defeated. The Night Elves, they accepted the Highborn, but as you can imagine, they didn't want another War of the Ancients or a Sundering, so using arcane magic became a crime punishable by death. Davramar's Sunstrider was the one who led the Highborn away from Ajara, and he wasn't happy about this. Magic was their birthright, they had been studying it for millennia, and they weren't about to give it up. The Night Elves, they just couldn't execute all of them, so they banished them instead, and the Highborn moved away from the Night Elves, across the sea, past the newly formed Maelstrom, all the way to the Eastern Kingdoms. They didn't leave empty-handed. Before they set sail, they made sure to take one of Illidan's vials full of water from the original Well of Eternity. It was around this time that they started to call themselves High Elves, and they first moved to the Tirisfal Glades. But after a few years, many of them were driven insane. They believed that something evil was under the Glades, we're not sure what, but they believed something evil, so they picked up their things and continued their journey. Along the way, they encountered the first primitive humans, but they didn't really interact with each other, while they also met the forest trolls of the Amani Empire, and they didn't get along with each other. The High Elves would soon start to hate the trolls, and the trolls didn't like them either. Eventually they found a place that was perfect for them, and they built their kingdom of Quel'Thalas. Unfortunately, they built this kingdom right on top a sacred and ancient city of the trolls, and this just fused the hatred between trolls and High Elves even further. They became enemies, the trolls started to attack their city, and the High Elves managed to defend it with the use of magic. By using the vial full of water from the Well of Eternity, they created their own well, and they called it the Sunwell. For thousands of years they lived in their city, practiced their magic, but they were careful about not attracting the attention of the Burning Legion. In the meantime, the humans started to band together. The trolls were also a problem for them, and it was Foradin of the Arafi who came up with a plan to unite all the different human clans. They did this by defeating the other clans and then offering them peace and equality. So what they did pretty much was kick the crap out of other clans and then just offer them a safe haven. They eventually built their capital city called Strom and founded their first human kingdoms called Arafor. The Amani Empire was huge, the biggest empire on the Eastern Kingdoms at the time, and the High Elves, they were losing their war. Something had to be done, so they sent one of their people to talk to the humans and see if they could form an alliance. Foradin was wise, and he saw that letting the Elven Kingdom fall could mean their own defeat, so they agreed to team up. In exchange for the humans' troops, the High Elves would teach 100 humans the way of magic. The elves found that although humans were initially clumsy in the handling of magic, they possessed a startling natural affinity for it. 100 men were taught the very basics of the elves' magical secrets, no more than was absolutely necessary to combat the trolls. High Elves and humans clashed with the trolls, and the trolls would eventually lose this war and never truly recover from their defeats.
The Amani never give up. We never forget. We never die.
So at this point, humans could wield magic now, but the Magi felt like the laws of Strom were holding them back, so they split themselves away from the kingdom and they built their own city, namely Dalaran. A city where they would be free to study, practice and use their magic as they pleased. More and more Magi moved to Dalaran, and soon enough, those who couldn't wield magic, but did provide food or drinks or other services, they too moved to Dalaran. All was good for a time until they learned the dangers of magic used unchecked, the lesson the High Elves learned so many years ago. The constant and ungoverned use of magic began to tear the fabric of reality around the city. These tears sent bright beacons out into the twisting nether, drawing the attention of the Burning Legion. Through these rents, demons began to slip back into Azeroth, and the Magi consulted the High Elves about this problem. The High Elves told them that as long as they used magic, they would need to protect their people from the agents of the Burning Legion. The people couldn't find out about this, or else they would riot in fear, so they decided to create a secret order known as the Council of Tirisfal, named after the location where they would meet, the Tirisfal Glades. The order began to experiment as to how to best protect themselves from the demons. Some believed that they should work together as a team of equals, while others believed they should funnel their magic into a single being and let him or her be the shield, although they didn't exactly know how to do that. This finally brings us to how the first Guardian came to be. This story is set 260 years before the first war between orcs and humans. The Council of Tirisfal is formed, and Irten Brighthand was their spearhead. He was the one that the other council members would link with, offer their powers, and allow him to battle the demons. The problem with this method was that if one would fall or weaken, it would affect all of them, so the weakest chain could make them all fall. In the story, a Dreadlord has found his way into Dalaran, and they come up with a plan to lure him into a trap, using the Amulet of Water. The plan works perfectly, except that this is no ordinary Dreadlord. This is Kafrenatir, a Dreadlord killed during the War of the Ancients by Malfurion Stormrage himself. The council tries to banish the demon, linking their power with Ertin, but it isn't enough. Kafrenatir manages to land a strike against the undead mage Merrill, who was so focused on lending his powers that he couldn't defend himself. With Merrill down, the others are weakened, and Kafra was about to kill them all. A young student of Dalaran, Elodie, sees all of this going on, sees how they're all connected and linking their powers into one. His friends, Prince Nalorav and his fiancée Idre, can't even see this, but he does, and he steps in to protect all of them. Desperately, he wants to protect as well as attack, and Ertin offers his powers to Elodie. This allows Elodie to create a shield strong enough to deflect Kafra's attacks, and as soon as the demon touches the shield, it creates a huge explosion. All of them might have died that day from the uncontrolled powers, but Ertin used his last of his strength to absorb most of the impact and save them all. The next day, Elodie wakes up and Master Merrill tells him what happened. Merrill used to be a human, but he died during the Troll Wars. People still needed him, so he used his own magic to resurrect himself and keep himself alive. The demon was defeated for now, but definitely not vanquished, and he got his hands on the Amulet of Water, and with it he could corrupt Lordamer Lake. The council came together within Tirisfal Glades to discuss what to do next. Indus, a female gnome, told them that they had to select a new spearhead, but this wasn't so simple. Ertin possessed unique qualities, the skill to wield their linked power, the desire to defend, while also the wisdom to never turn against them. Afilar, a high elf female, suggested that they should just stop with trying to use this spearhead. They weakened themselves and all their spearheads so far had died. She saw it as a failing plan. Merrill said that they already had found their new spearhead. Elodie had managed to wield their power purely by instinct, with a desire to protect all of them and the heart of a warrior longing to use it as a weapon. He suggested that Elodie was their guy, but the other members did not agree. They saw him as a high elf orphan, surely gifted, but also lazy and unexperienced. Despite that, Merrill took the boy under his wing, knowing that if he gave him a reason to excel, he definitely would. The boy studied hard, and together with Merrill, they worked on an improvement of the spell that they used to link with each other. This spell would allow them to link, but over a much greater distance. That way, the source of power could stay in a protective place, while the spearhead would fight and protect. All this studying took up nearly all of Elodie's time, and his fiancée was not happy about this. Elodie's needs and wishes had changed, while hers had not, and they were slowly growing apart. Several weeks later, the Dreadlord was spotted in Silverpine, and the council tried to stop him by using their magic individually. This failed horribly. They couldn't even penetrate his magical wards, while the demon summoned a great swarm of locusts and tried to burn the council. Most of them survived, but one of them had a great fear of bugs. Afilar which caused her to freeze up and she was unable to protect herself. Again, Meryl told them that they needed their champion, and this time, seeing how Elodie has been working so hard, the council agreed. Elodie was invited to their secret meeting within the Tearsfall Glades, where the council explains who they were and what they were offering him. Becoming the spearhead wasn't something you just did. It would change you and your destiny forever. So Elodie couldn't immediately decide. He wanted some time to think, and in that time he talked to his fiancée. She just received news that her father passed away. Her mother was ill. The land was beset by swarming insects and vermin, while the wells had run dry. All of this was the work of the Dreadlord, and Elodie realized that he could save them all. He could protect the one he loved most, but in exchange, he would have to let her go. Which he would, of course. That night, the council got together, and Elodie told them his decision. But instead of directly linking to each other, and only giving a portion of their power, he wanted them to offer all their power for the duration of the fight. They would use the spell that he and Meryl had been working on, the one that would allow them to link from a great distance, so they wouldn't have to worry about protecting themselves. To reflect this change, he would no longer be called their spearhead, instead he would become their guardian. Guardian of their power, their safety and their trust. Guardian of the defense of Azeroth. Meryl, Yuga, Indus, Rohar and Irar offered their powers willingly. Power we have, power we share, out of many into one. Elodie made his way to Brightwater Lake, where Khafra Natir was last seen. He knew that the Dreadlord was not just trying to corrupt the lake or spread a plague. He had a larger plan. The plan to put High Elf, Human and Gnome against each other, so to cause wars which demons find so entertaining. Khafra was not impressed by the mage. They tried to contain him before, banish him, and they had failed. What difference would this one mage make? What he didn't know was that Elodie didn't come alone, and he used Indus's spell of Bright Vision to spot Khafra's aura of darkness. He used Yuga her spell to entrap Khafra within a magical ward. He asked Irar to lend him his strength so he could keep the ward active. He asked Meryl to share his courage so he could either face down this monster or accept his own death bravely. Then he asked all of them to combine their power and unleash every searing spell that they possessed so that they could banish this demon. This demon that had cost them so much, land destroyed, people killed, and Elodie's life as he knew it gone. This demon had turned him into a demon's nightmare, and at the end of their struggle, Elodie banished Khafra back to the Twisting Nether. His fiancée lived near the lake, saw everything that happened, and realized that Elodie had saved her, had saved all of them. Their duties were no longer the same, where she would have to stay behind and take care of her family and their land. Elodie was destined to take care of the world. Once more, Elodie tapped into the power of the council. Rohar, lend me your wisdom that I may do what is right. And with that, Elodie flew away from the love of his life and the life that he had known. He wanted to return his power to the rest of the council until the next battle, but they decided that he should keep it. When his time came, he would pass it on to the next guardian, who would take his place as defender of the world, with the council backing him up. This went on for centuries, where the guardian and the council worked in harmony. When Elodie's time was over, he passed on his powers to the next guardian. It's uncertain how many guardians defended Azeroth over the years, but what we do know is that at one point, Skevel became a guardian, and the guardian received the honorful title of Makar, which means protector in Dwarven. This story takes place around 882 years ago, and Magna Skevel's time was approaching, so he had to pick
Ja,
a new guardian
hopp,
from his
så,
five apprentices. For his
sög.
apprentices, they were men. Falric, Jonas, Manfred and Natalie.
Isn't there, bro?
Back then, the social standing between males and females was not the same as it is today. Usually, females were taught to be pretty, learn skills like cooking or how to use herbs for healing. Basically, they got ready for a husband, but not something as independent as learning how to be a mage. Despite that,
Okay, let's make some bombs.
She was the most gifted. She had managed to master the Metri scrolls, which were scrolls made by a powerful High Elven mage thousands of years ago, and not even the High Elves were able to master these until decades into their apprenticeships. This is the reason why Skevel recommended Adrian for being the next Guardian. The other boys, the other apprentices, they thought that this was a stupid choice. That she was good for a woman, but they were meant
Advanced target dummy. I need bronze frame, irons, rött, and
older human said with a sigh that women are emotional,
gyrochronatom, unbecoming gyros, chronatos, tom.
Any of the use that Skevel has found, and we cannot afford for the Guardian to be anything less than the best, even if that means giving the position to a girl. At that, Adrian bristled. With respect, good sirs, I will be as good as a mage as any of these boys. In fact, I think I will be better, because I had to overcome so much more to get here. The boys were still not happy. One of them tried to convince the council to pick him by turning stone into gold, but his spell failed and the council had decided. Besides, the older human added, the Guardian must be the vessel of the council. I suspect that a girl will be less willful and will understand the chain of command, as it were. Now, as you can imagine, this wasn't exactly a great start for the new Guardian and the council. But nonetheless, Adrian received Skevel's powers.
Okay, so this is enough for 22 big-ass bombs. Even though I can get hella more iron grenade, I think big iron bomb is better.
They informed her about her mission, of course.
Almost the same damage.
She performed her duty.
Actually,
one day,
149 to 201. It has a bigger.
By accident, Adrian spotted his demonic magic, stepped in, killed him, and saved the children. She was then summoned by the council, who were not happy about her methods. She should have contained the demon instead of outright destroying him, so that they could use him for some information about Sargeras. Adrian couldn't believe it. What was she supposed to do? Just let the children be used? Killed even? She was fed up with the council their methods of being reactive instead of proactive. All they did was trying to react to the demonic threats, while Adrian believed that they should actively seek them out. The council reminded her that she was supposed to do as she was told, that the Guardian was the arm of the council and that she should follow their orders. Adrian at this point was exhausted after all that fighting, and all she wanted was to get some sleep. So she
I can get more iron grenades, and it's easier to make, but big iron bomb has a bigger impact radius, you know, 5 yards. This is 3 yards. They're both stun.
Some would die and be replaced. Even her former fellow students passed away.
Decisions.
Adrian didn't care about any of them. She believed the council to be a bunch of
Let's
fools,
make.
and she was the one who did all the work. This ego
I need my I need my
off against Sargeras.
arc light spanner.
Hunting dragons, and Adrian teleported to deal with them. She sent a massive bolt of power, which struck the banner carrier of the demons.
I hate that I need leather. I hate that I need leather.
This drew the attention of several demons, but they were no match for Adrian's power. The leader of the group told her that she was
okay.
While she
Okay, we're just making.
a few of them, many more
what do we
make down below. You are an overconfident fool, screamed the demon. All have come here.
I don't think Undercity has engineering,
said Adrian calmly. You know, bellowed the demon with a throaty laugh. You know that you are alone in the wilderness with every demon raised against you. You know? I know, said Adrian, and there was a smile in the voice. I know you would bring as many of your allies as possible. A guardian.
Or do they? Anyone know? I don't think they have engineering.
And you came anyway, alone, to this forsaken place. I know.
It's a bag window. How much is it? 9 gold.
Snapped her fingers, and the sky suddenly
God damn it.
as if a great flock of birds had been disturbed and blocked the sun. Except they were not birds. They were dragons. Adrian had lured as many demons as possible, and the demons fell right into her trap. The dragons, combined with the Guardian, nearly wiped out all the demons present, but a few of them managed to summon the avatar of Sargeras. This was not the real, fully powered Sargeras, since that would have taken a much larger portal with a lot more power. Nonetheless, even the avatar was incredibly powerful, and the few remaining dragons quickly flew away. Adrian raised both hands and unleashed a shout, half curse and half prayer. A flaming rainbow of colors unseen on this world erupted from her palm, snaking upwards like a sentient strike of lightning. It struck like a dagger thrust in the center of Sargeras' chest. This attack took nearly everything that Adrian had, and it was successful as well. Even though Sargeras tried to undo her spell, he didn't succeed, and his avatar was destroyed. Adrian's trap had been more successful than even she had imagined, but what she didn't know was that this was exactly what Sargeras had planned all along. His spirit was not destroyed, and he infected Adrian's body, hiding away until the day would come where he would be able to infiltrate the council from within and destroy Azeroth's defenses against the Burning Legion.
Imagine taking Yip Yap over to hardcore.
Himself, a freaking god, and this just made her more arrogant. She locked away the avatar of Sargeras within the tomb of Sargeras and protected the place with such powerful defenses that no magic from Azeroth could ever break open the tomb. After that moment, after defeating Sargeras, Adrian resumed her duties as the Guardian while pretty much ignoring the council as much as she could. Around 107 years ago, the council had enough. They had summoned her several times already, which she ignored of course, but this time the summon was so powerful that it actually interrupted her own spellcasting. She showed up and the council told her that enough was enough. It's been 800 years since she first became the Guardian and it was time to pass on her powers. Time for the council to select a new Guardian. The magic she used to keep herself young was—
Let's create some grenades. Requires an anvil. Are you dumb?
She could instantly turn to a real age and her powers would be lost. For once, she agreed with the council's suggestion, but she wasn't about to hand over the powers back to the council. As a final act of defiance, she told them that she would be the one to select a new guardian.
Okay, they're green now. Then we turn over to this.
And Nilas was
This one.
a very powerful mage who served the current king of Stormwind, Lendon Rin. He was also not tied to the Council of Tirisfal, which made him the perfect candidate to father her child. She let him believe that he was able to seduce her, tame the wild guardian, while in truth, she was the one using him. But if you weren't impressed, said Nilas, his mind wrapping around what Adrian was saying, if you didn't want me, then why did we? Adrian provided the answer. I came to Stormwind for one thing I could not provide for myself. A suitable father to my heir. Yes, Nilas Aran, you can tell your fellow mages in the Order that you managed to bet the great—
Okay, we're cranking this up to 205 engineering.
That you provided me with a way of passing on my power without the Order having any further say in it. And take this solace, of all the mages, wizards, conjurers and sorcerers, you were the one with the most potential. Your seed will protect and strengthen my child and make him the vessel of my
Okay,
power.
24 big ass bombs.
Even raise him here, for I know he will.
And then
and even the Order would not want to miss that opportunity
then we do
to influence him. And so
I hate that there's no engineering trainer here. It makes no sense. Yo, do we have engineering here? Oh, best town ever. I felt it was a bit strange not having engineering trainer here. Doomerdale. The doomiest of dales.
What is it?
You are ready for greater things. See
Now,
Franklin Lloyd to my right.
do we go Goblin or do we go Gnome? Goblin, is it Gnome? Goblin is more damage, right? Goblin is more consumables. No. Yes. Where Gnomish is more toys and trinkets. Let's have a look. Gnomish can make... Sug, Doomerdale. I've been smelting my ores, man. Goblin jumper cables, I don't need that. Goblin sepper charges, now that I do need. Mage weave, solid blasting powder, unstable, explode when triggered, dealing. Oh. These dangerous looking boots significantly increases your run speed. They are prone to explode, so use with caution. That's bad. Goblin mortar inflicts fire damage and stun the target. Yes, there is something that can kill me while making it. I don't remember either. Jesus, it sounds like it's goblin stuff. Goblin mortar? Is it shit? Goblin mortar. That would be the silliest of deaths. Can backfire, dealing damage to you and party members around you. And and people around you. So you can wipe your group if you're unlucky. Okay, so the gnomish death ray can backfire. I think that's a death ray. I'm almost. Did you fuck up that number? Okay, but we have the gnomish devices that can teleport you to Galgitsan. But if that fails, it will port you up in the air and it will kill you. So. None of that. I kinda agree with none of that.
Engineering at the expert level breaks into two disciplines, gnome and goblin. While I think it is a waste, you should be aware of gnome's specialization. They make items and gadgets that claim to change the world, but rarely work. Adventurer, read this manual. If you wish to learn how to make metal paperweights, then take the manual to Oglethorpe Obnauticus in Booty Bay. Remember, membership is permanent and prevents joining the other discipline, so make sure you are sure before finishing his task.
Trust no one. Dark Lady, watch over you.
Expert engineering yields two distinct disciplines, gnome and goblin. Clearly, goblin engineering is the choice of all brilliant engineers. Learn to master the world through the judicious use of high explosives and fantastic gear. Adventurer, read this manual. If you want to learn about goblin engineering, then take it to Nick's Sprocket Spring in Gadgetsan. Remember, membership is permanent and prevents joining the other discipline, so make sure this is what you want before finishing his task. Engineering at the expert level breaks into two disciplines, gnome and goblin.
I'm not sure
While
what
I
to
think
pick.
it is a waste, you should be aware of gnome's specialization. They make items and gadgets that claim to change the world, but rarely work. Adventurer, read this manual. If you wish to learn how to make metal paperweights, then take the manual to Oglethorpe Obnauticus in Booty Bay. Remember, membership is permanent and prevents joining the other discipline, so make sure you are sure before finishing his task.
Okay. So my engineering is not 205. What can I make? I wanna kill my neighbor so badly. Gnomish cloaking device sounds good though. I can make goblin landmines. Jesus Christ. Hmm. Hmm. I don't think it's. I don't think it's. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters too much.
Hello?
think I'll just finish up making these. Okay, this should last me a good while.
What do you require? Trust no. That better be good.
50 gold. Oh my god. Might as well know. Okay. All right. Off we go.
Speak quickly.
Beer. That's the is that the camouflage?
Welcome to the front lines, adventurer. While politicians may connive and scheme amongst themselves, they'll find no such luxury afforded to them here. This is the Bulwark, and we fight for our continued survival on a daily basis here. If you've come here looking for a chance to prove yourself as a hero, then you'll find plenty of opportunities to do so. Especially as we push towards Andorhal and whatever malign force that controls the Scourge there. Welcome to the Plaguelands, hero. This is one of the most dangerous frontiers in Azeroth, with the looming threat of the Scourge to our east, and then even further still eastward from there. I am glad to hear that the call of duty and service to the Horde did not fall on deaf ears with you. If you're ready to get your hands dirty, then there is plenty for willing and able heroes to do here on the edge of the Plaguelands.
Before Andorhal, we must tackle the advancing Scarlet Crusade menace from Hearthglen. They've made camp
okay.
Field and Dawson's Tears.
But the USEC has better camouflage, no?
My plan is to play them off of each other by sending
I think Kiffy told me that.
They've set up. Use some flame in a bottle from this box of incendiaries.
In 3 more levels, I'm free to do whatever I want.
With some luck, they'll ignore us and focus on the Scourge.
Just need to get this shit done.
Resourceful for a human, Gregor is. He's been dealing with the Steamweedle cartel for some time now, and has become an expert on the art of goblin negotiations. Though it's true that the goblins' primary loyalties lie with those who have the largest coin purses, they also know and respect the value of diplomacy. If anything, it provides them with repeat customers. At any rate, the Argent Dawn acknowledges you for your effort.
Okay, so no mobs were killed this day. I need to clear this all by myself.
Wearing such will earn your right
cool flannel shirts. The camo doesn't really make any difference, to be honest. Okay. Now, these motherfuckers right here can chain pull, and they are super scary. But we'll try to be smart about this.
Join the fight today.
So to bring pain and strife to the Scarlet Crusade, I want to take their precious lumber mill from them. I'm sure the loss of such a resource will cause them a great deal of harm in defending and rebuilding the town for their own reasons.
Do they run when they're scared?
This jaw to Plaguewood in the eastern
They do.
Plaguelands. Fill it with the termites you find in their mounds throughout the woods. Come back when you have enough.
You're allowed to taunt, bitch. Do I need to set you on bite and growl only duty? Oh my god, there's a chest here too. You know what? Time to farm some bitches. Now that's a stupid spell. Look at the damage. Look at the damage from that. Oof. Don't like that at all. 7 deadliest in Western Plaguelands, but only number 377 deadliest in Azeroth. That's saying something about the Plaguelands. The rest of, I mean, if the number 7 deadliest at an end level zone can be number 377 deadliest of all time. Yep. Yep. Hello. Hello. Yep, people don't get to this place, and even then, it's the number 377 deadliest. So they've killed enough high-level players. Usually, at a zone like this, they're the 2000 deadliest. But being at this high level, and being the number 7 deadliest in this zone, that's scary. It's very scary. Okay, we're gonna try to pull these two guys. And we managed to do that. And then we focus this guy. Try the bomb. I can probably survive pulling 3 of them, but not if the invokers. The invokers are scary as shit. That continuous arcane missile. Pull her back a bit. It's destroying my cat. Gonna give a tiny heal to me and you, buddy. That's a very fortunate double pull. Okay. The first pack of mobs I'm fighting today and my heart rate is jacked. And if I remember correctly, they have a very fast respawn. This works. How many flash heals can you do? I know. I used that to aggro this pack. Need to be quicker than the respawns, come on! Okay, I will go for the quest first, then the chest.
Work complete.
Oh yeah. Perfect execution. Hey! Can I mine mithril yet? I think I can. Ooh, my first mithril. Let's go. Easy, easy indeed. Nice, I got 6 solid stones. Now to find the Blood of the Fallen and click that. Back to Durutar in a jiffy. I get why people die to that. I clicked, I learned the hard way first time I clicked one of those. Oh my god, I gotta mute myself for a second here. The birds are crazy.
This had better be. Finely executed, adventurer. Your attack on the Scarlet Crusade will buy us time. I have sent one of my best scouts out to watch over the camp and make sure that the Crusade forces that come to reinforce the position will take the bait. With the pressure on us lessened, we should now finally be able to risk a mission into Andorhal itself, and an important one at that. I'd very much like it if you'd perform this one as well, based on your success to date.
Be right back. Need to check on the pinnekjøtt.
We can mark targets of our choosing for future actions by our troops. To that end, we think the Scourge are using Andorhal's watchtowers as a means to control their troop movements. Your mission, breach Andorhal's defenses to plant beacons at all 4 watchtowers. You'll need to be in the doorway of each tower to plant the beacon. It will then proceed to mark the tower. There are only 5 charges on the beacon torch, so use them wisely. Within the lands of former Lordaeron are 8 cauldrons, 4 in the west and 4 more entrenched in the east. These cauldrons spew poisons into the air, propagating the plague throughout the land for the Scourge. The necromantic might of Kel'Thuzad is too strong to outright shut down these cauldrons. But we think we might have a way to subvert them to our advantage. My second, Shadow Priestess Vandis, will be your point on this assignment.
He's still talking, this guy.
From the shadows, brother traveler, I bid you greetings. I am to serve as your coordinator for our plan to sabotage the Scourge's cauldrons. Our goal will be to change the composition of the plague that the cauldrons create into something that negatively affects the Scourge. In order to effect this change, you will need to secure access to each of the 4 cauldrons here in the Western Plague Lands. The time has come.
Okay, so these are the number 1 deadliest Azeroth, and I think that's because of mages. Has to be because of mages. They have trash though.
Go to Fellstone Field due east of here and northwest of Andorra, and engage the cauldron there. On it is a key that will unlock access to the cauldron. When unlocked, use this bottle to get a sample of the cauldron's toxins. We'll need it for study.
Pulling just 1 and 1 will probably be out of the question. Do you patrol? Please patrol. Let's hope someone isn't coming to steal it from me. I guess we have to just fight it. Should probably have killed the mage first. But we're good. Can I deliver or will I pull? Red nearby? Oh, it's this guy. Very nice. Level 60 Retri Paladin. That's almost as memey as me.
Time is running out for me, for us all.
The package must be delivered before I'm trapped here.
The cries of a panicked woman feel almost like a whisper floating through the house. Cowered in the upstairs corner is the apparition of a woman. She does not seem to be fully cognizant of her surroundings, and she is only vaguely aware of you. Are you here to deliver?
Okay, let's just sheath the shit out of this. I don't want to fight.
Right out of here. It should still be by my horse. Or am I too late?
Sneaky, sneaky. Thank you. Return to the Bulwark.
Come, my brother in arms, to take back the night from the scourge. Well done, adventurer.
Right,
it
we're
should
back
take
again.
Apothecary Dithers no time at all to analyze this and devise a counter-agent to introduce into the cauldron. If we are able to pump out enough of it into the air, we might be able to weaken all the scourge present here. This will no doubt be an ongoing ordeal. We will need to continually hit these cauldrons and introduce our reagents into their mix. Still, if we can keep it up, we will have a huge advantage over Scourge when the time comes for battle. One of the plague cauldrons is located in the field of a former farmhouse, now referred to as Dawson's Tears. No tears will be shed this day, adventurer. We must strike at this cauldron and gain access to it. Go to Dawson's Tears, almost due north of Anderhall, and eliminate the cauldron lord there. It should have a key like the last one did, allowing you inside the cauldron's innards. Use this bottle to obtain a sample from inside the cauldron. Each cauldron has its own distinct brew of toxins it uses.
Oh, that was lucky. Holy shit, that was lucky.
Work complete.
Oh, brother, you fear me? Yo, that fairy is so nasty. How did I get both of them? Bro? Fuck, dude. That Wandering Terror just went straight into that fucking place. Oh, we went past? No? Jesus Christ, look at my map. Dude, that fair could have killed me. That fair's gonna kill me. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this fair? No cooldown on that shit? Dude. Yo, hold aggro, man. Yeah, fuck this. Fuck this place, dude. Jesus Christ. There's so many of them and they're stacked and they fear and they do all kinds of shit. So annoying. What if I was feared inside, I would have to pop target dummy and feign death and fuck dude, I don't want to lose my target dummy this early. Jesus Christ. There's 3 guys inside. Okay, so we have one guy that fears. One that corrupts stamina. I guess I just have to try and bait. Oh, I got everyone. Stop fearing, please! Now I need to kill the fucking wandering skeleton. I just killed that guy. I didn't have the quest. And they spawn small dick worms. Fuck sake. You know, I bought this fucking guide. It could have told me that there's a lot of skeletal terrors that fear here. That would be information. That would be useful. You know? Ugh. Oh yeah? And now you're gonna fear me? Fucking hell. Let's pull the whole camp, shall we? Get stunned, bitch. Yeah, one last fear just before you die, huh? Terrorist. pet is hungry. That's the wandering skeleton. This mob has trash and enrage, be very careful, but to me it says damage death increased by 20, so now it's lying to me. Okay, before we even try to enter this dumb fucking house. Actually, can I? I know a trick here, I think. I can send my pet. Then I can click. Something I could do if I didn't have a mortal pet. And I want to test it. Oh fuck, I blew my only fucking mana drink. Jesus. I think it's I think they control pet. Eye of the Beast, run in and click it. Yes. No, not mind control, they send their pet. Like this. You sure about that? Okay. I think I've seen someone do it with a pet. And I think it was Roji. Please, Wolf. Please fuck off. Fuck this fucking padding! Oh my god. Not once has it been here, and now it's fucking going straight for me. I'm a magnet. I'm not feeling this zone at all. I hate this place so much. I love the Cauldron quests, but that's it. These fucking undeads, they're packed. Look at my map. And they fear? Are you serious? God, I hate this place. Look at that bitch. There's no mana, but he fears. Of course he fears. Doesn't cost mana to fear, does it? Check. Let me check it out.
Have so many flavors. Oh
What the?
Nice. Mind vision. Yes, that's nice. Clever. Oh my god, and I pulled the fucking terror. Okay, I'm mad now. Good luck, fucker. I resisted your fear, but does that matter? You have a 4-second cooldown on that shit. Why isn't he fearing? Oh my god, and here's the Wanderer, everybody! Welcome to the party, dickhead! What a nice little place we have here. Thanks for telling me to do this, Questy. Like it's no warning signs, nothing, huh? This isn't hard, huh? Remember to be 2 people. You tell me that on things I solo easy, and this quest, no, this is easy. Just go and fetch some shit inside a house full of dead people, and they fear, by the way. I'm so mad. One wrong step, and I'm toast. Fuck this music. Let's not pretend it's a golly good time. In-game music, let's go. Fuck you! Volatile infection infects nature damage nearby every 15 seconds, so when I try to eat, it's breaking my... Stay the fuck away from me. Oh, you're spawning back, are you? Respawns are fucking insane, that's good to know.
That spell is brilliant.
Oh, here's the worms again. You're gonna fear me, bitch? Oh, now you're fearing the cat. Now we're fearing the cat. Stop fearing the cat, actually. It was way faster than me. How many fears can you throw out in a second, you bitch? Oh, look here. Oh, another one. Oh, another one. Nice. Nice. Nice fair. Oh, is it stressful? You know what? Fight them. Fight them and despawn. Despawn, please. Thank you. Oh. This is the worst shit ever. Is there even a follow-up to that stupid quest? What's going on here? Scarlet Invoker? Why are the Scarlets here? Is this some event that gonna bite me in the ass? Okay, they're actually clearing this place. Fuck you and your disease, brother. Yeah, go kill them. Hello, house packed with mobs. Yeah, of course we got 2 of them, huh? Couldn't just pull 1, could we? No. Oh, we're gonna disease my pet again? Probably gonna stack. Double damage on me, so I can't eat, I can't bandage, can't do shit. Yeah, there's other places I can quest, I know, but I'm not backing out. But the fucking respawns, dude. Wait, fuck you! He fears, so that's nice. Hello, dickhead. Come here, bitch. Yeah, bring the other one too. And he tries to fear me. He can fear. It's a 30-yard range on that one. Come here, you bitch. We're not fighting there. We're fighting over here. Okay, I'm back in the action. You're gonna fear again? Oh, you are? Fear me now, bitch. Oh, we got respawns, everybody! We got the respawns! Oh my god, there are 3 people in this room. LOS, bitch. No, not LOS. Yeah, we got no mana pots. Is it even here? Okay, you go tank that guy, and you go tank that guy. I go deliver this quest, and we're running the fuck out of here. We're out of here, baby. We're out of here. We are fucking out of here. Yeah. Nice days. You go attack that one, I run this way. You despawn, we're out of here. You despawn, I do this. Fuck you, quest. Fuck you. Stupid ass quest. And you know what I got? A shit ring and a gun. And it's not even mine. It's not my gun. Jesus Christ. Okay, now we can vibe again. Whew. It's been a great day today. Can't wait for tomorrow. You know what? I'm sick of this. That stressed me the fuck out. You could probably not tell by my calm, demure voice that I was stressed. It's everyday life for me, you know. No problem. Wasn't even scared. Wasn't even a tiny bit scared. Very demure. Yeah, let's get stuck.
Hello, I am known as Chronormu, but you may call me Chromie. I am comfortable with such familiarity. Now, how did I know your name, you ask? I am one of the Bronze Dragonflight, forever attuned to the ebb and flow of time. You could say that we have met before. To that end, we shall also meet again. I hope that my choice of visual demeanor does not disturb.
Okay, skeletal apocalypse. No, acolyte. Can't be that bad, can they?
Tampering of the timeline by a force, most likely the Scourge, has occurred in Andorra. I can try to keep the passage of time here intact and mend what has been damaged, but I'll need your help to do so uninterrupted. Temporal parasites, carrying the meaning of the strands of time's altered flow, now infest the silos of Andorra. A blue pulse of distortion is their only visual marker. They slow my auguries. Please, adventurer, help me by using the temporal displacement to beat out these parasites.
Stop his heal! Thank you. Don't pull the elite, it says. And so we do. It's trying to make me... Is it telling me to do the silo quests? I do not want to do the silo quests. But I guess we're doing the silo quests. Hey, we have 1 minute cooldown left on this beacon torch. Because why not add a cooldown to an ability that you need to use 4 times? That seems only fair. The only thing it adds is downtime, and you know, downtime is good. Downtime, we can make some bandages. Yeah, can't use that for another 2 minutes. Hello. Can't burn what you can't see, bitch. Okay, I'm not using these silos. Those silos. I need silos that are close to water. Finish up on these bandages. Another Warchief blessing that I'm missing. Yippee! Okay, those are closer to the water, I think. Do we run through here? I don't think we do that. Do we do that? No, we don't do that, do we? No, we don't. Now let's use the tiny brain cells we have on this orc. We will find a silo near water. You can't just run from them either because they slow you. They spam slow. Let's see. Let's see. These silos, are these the closest to the water? Okay. Yep, these are perfect. You need to die, sir. I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm doing a dumb thing the smartest way I can. Stop. No, don't burn my mana, please. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Are we ready for this? We're ready for this. Okay, we got 2. Come back here. If everything goes to shit. Okay, that was lucky. Now I'm okay with this guy spawning maybe 2 guys. Okay, that was very bad. I need to get more than 2 out of 1 charge. Shit. Okay, well, let's try this one then. Little loot, of course. Oh, that's a triple, and I have aggro on everyone. Using deterrence. A little nade, of course. Okay, good. That was lucky. Are you attacking the same target as I am? Yes, you are. Okay, now we're both attacking. They're both attacking the cat. Why did I do that? So I can heal myself. Always looting. Okay, I do want them to spawn more mobs, but not 3 at a time. Yes, perfect. Now if we can just keep going with this one, then we're golden. Little loot of course. I'm pooling my mana. Oh, very lucky. Oh no, I really hope you do not spawn any more mobs. I will be done for. I was joking. Wish I had something to drink. Guess we're just waiting for the mana then. Here we go. Get aggro. The slow isn't just movement speed, it's attack speed too. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. A double heal on the pet. Okay, we're chilling. Please spawn another one. Ah. Do I risk it on another silo, or do I stay here, just wait for them to spawn? Okay, it spawns back there. Oh, okay, nice, it's back. This is perfect. It's actually perfect. Okay. Wish I had more mana, but I can always use a pot. 2 guys. Flesh golem. Okay. That's the flesh golem. Now I need this guy to become 2 more guys. And we're done. Perfect, we're done. I can't math, but we're done. Jesus Christ, I'm good. What's the safest way to the tower? Nice. That's because the fish are. Is the last tower? No? Think so. Not fucking with that guy. can't do that in combat. Boom! Yeah, we pulled that one. You have to be joking. Thank God. How am I not pulling this guy? I'm pulling that guy. Guess we're killing that guy then.
Time feels easier to mend now. Thank you, adventurer. While you might not understand fully the consequences of a fractured timeline, I appreciate that you understand the urgency of countering what I suspect more and more to be a scourge-driven malfeasance.
Okay.
I see no harm in rewarding you for your assistance.
I'm gonna take a break.
Your greatest feats are to come.
See you later.
And the awarding of